What's going on, people? Welcome back to AFTV. Join us for the preview of Port Vale versus Arsenal. It's the third round of the League Cup. On Wednesday, actually 8 p.m. kickoff. Will we prevail over Port Vale? A third round exit would be a massive fail. Let's get into this. Right, so...
Why is this guy employed?
I thought you're sitting in Turkish's normal seat, and I thought we'd get a bit of a different change of mood, but nah. People are, you're not loving it. You're not loving it. All right, well let's get into this.
That was one of your better ones as well.
All right, let's get into this. Obviously, it's Port Vale. We'll go into the meat of the video, which will kind of be talking around about the players who we think are going to play. I know there's going to be a Predicts 11 video, which will be coming out later on the channel, but we have to discuss it. We'll discuss it with a few of you here because it's going to be the main talking topic. But the first thing I do want to talk about is, what do you want to see from Arsenal? We'll start with you, Robbie, in this match. Apart from a win, let's eradicate, obviously, we want to see Arsenal win, of course. We're expected to win. We're going to be favourites for this game against Port Vale. But what would you want to see? Would you want to see a change in style? Or is anything that... Or person, like, what are you looking for from this match?
Well, listen, we're obviously looking for a win. Obviously looking to see some attacking style of football because, there's no reason to put, a defensive team in place. We're playing Port Vale. But actually, I think, this is a competition that I want to see Arsenal really go for. We've all been sort of lauding up the fact that we've got a great squad. And if you've got a great squad, that means you can fight on multiple fronts. And, last year in this competition, we did okay. Ended up going out, of course, to Newcastle, who went on to win it. But I want to see Arsenal go all the way in this competition. I think we've got a squad that can, do that, can go deep down into it. Obviously, cup competitions depends a lot on the luck of the draw. But we've got a good, favourable draw of this. Yeah. Port Vale away. We've got to take it seriously because we saw what happened to Manchester United at Grimsby. If you don't take it seriously, these teams will be up for it. They'll put in the performance of their life and you could be on the end of an embarrassment. So go there, be professional, win it, and let's try and progress in this tournament.
Kenny, I'll ask you the same sort of question. It's the Valiants versus the Gunners here. Port Vale are sat in League One. They're currently 19th in League One. So... Wow. Again, what are you looking at from Arsenal? Are you looking for a statement win, even though there might be wholesale changes? What are you wanting to see from this fixture?
Yeah, obviously we want to win. I do want to see the inclusion of youth players, particularly Ethan Miles and Max Dowman potentially. Mm-hmm. I think two of those players we'll probably talk about in the starting 11. But I think. I want to see them play, and we've not seen them play as of yet really that much. And as well, just as you guys said, I don't want to see pragmatism. If I see pragmatism against Port Vale, guys, I swear down, I'm going to lose it. We need to go there, as Dad said, we just need to go there, play good football, win. And, we saw Man United against Grimsby, but don't forget Forest against Swansea, where they were brocking them up 2-0. Mm-hmm. And, just... almost disrespect to Swansea and end up losing 3-2. So we have to go there, just win, and go as far as possible in this competition. I think last season was quite disappointing in how we went out to Newcastle. Obviously they went on to win it, which was fantastic for them, but we came up short. Go and take this competition serious because we are desperate for silverware.
So for both of you, listen, the Port Vale won 3 of their last 5, and we're the same. We've won 3 of our last 5. For you, Rob, is there pressure on Mikel Arteta for this game, even though it is only a League Cup game? Kenny just said it there. We got knocked out by Newcastle. Obviously, won it last year. But you say you want us to go far and deep into this competition. I'm assuming you want us to win this as well. I think we all want to see silverware this season. Is there pressure on him because of the result as well the other day against Man City?
Yeah, I don't necessarily think it's pressure on him because of the Man City game. This is a different game. But pressure is on you anyway as a manager of a Premier League team when you're going to a lower league team to win. You know what I mean? Is that, you anything less than a win and, normally a convincing win as well.
Even going to penalties,
not going to be looked upon very well. You know what I mean? And the format of this competition now is that it can go to penalties. That's how we went out in the FA Cup last year to Man United. People forget we didn't actually lose in 90 minutes. We lost on penalties. But teams know that they can take it to penalties. Yeah. So that's another reason why you can't, and I don't think he will be pragmatic in this game, because remember, they haven't been pragmatic and have actually smashed teams like Leeds and Forest and teams like that. But these teams know that if they sit in deep and make it really difficult, they could possibly get it to penalties, and then they got a chance, and then it's anybody. So got to go out there, be on the front foot, and as I said, we've got a very good squad now. So even though there'll be wholesale changes, because we've got a very difficult game coming up at the weekend against Newcastle, very physical game, so you want everybody in tip-top shape for that, right? But you've got a great squad, so utilise that and win this game. And a chance for quite a few players who haven't really figured a lot this season because of injury, like Christian Norgard, who can come into this. Players like Ben White, who's been out. You know what I mean? Do you give a run out to Saliba, who looks a little bit rusty in the game against Man City? Do you give a run out to him, or do you bring Mosquera in for this? I mean, there's options right across the whole squad. You know what I mean? As Kenya said, you got your Wanyieris, you've got your Max Dowmans, and players like this. Martinelli, does he start this game?
There's a lot of good conversations to have around down the 11. Now, you mentioned penalties quite a lot in that discussion. Let me just read the stat here. This will be the first competitive meeting between Port Vale and Arsenal since 1998, when they clashed in the FA Cup third round. On that occasion, Port Vale took Arsenal to a replay and then to penalties. So that, we hope it's not going to be replicated come Wednesday.
Look, I'm not being funny. Grimsby Town had history of Man United. Do you know what I mean? I think they hadn't played Man United since like 1960 or something, and they still did a thing against them. Yeah. So you have to look. There's giant killings in these type of competitions. Like, I think you guys are talking about maybe there's not as much pressure. I think there is pressure, to be honest. We're talking about a team that's not won anything for 6 years now. We're going on to the 6th year. If you can't even beat Port Vale, like,
it's an absolute must win.
If he doesn't win, the uproar and the meltdowns.
When you saw it in Man United, when they lost to Grimsby, it was an absolute meltdown. But that's also it's and what you said with Swansea, it's a good warning to Mikel Arteta, which I'm sure he'll heed, that do not take these teams too lightly. So I think you'll actually see. Even though there'll be wholesale changes, I think you see probably a few regulars in there as well.
He does do that
so,
because go and get the game won.
I agree.
That's interesting. Ruben's still been in a job though, even though after that Grimsby loss is quite fascinating. So I think if that happened to Arsenal, there's no
he's still being listen. If Mikel Arteta lost to Port Vale, he's not going to get sacked, but it just mounts the pressure upon you. You know what I mean? The pressure comes on you where. But you wouldn't get sacked but it's not a good look, is it, for going forward? But I feel this is a competition this year with the squad that Arsenal have got.
You must.
Because we've seen over the years, Man City.
You must.
Man City have always had like a really good record in recent times in this competition because they've got such a good squad.
Yeah.
So, you'll see teams rest a lot of players until they get deep down into this competition.
Yeah.
But if you play a strong squad in it, you're going to go far. Newcastle, one of the reasons they won it last year is that they literally went strong every single game because they were desperate to win
it. Right?
So that's why they won it. And as I said, over the years, City have taken it seriously. Strong team, gone on to win it, So I think for a team that's not won a trophy for a long time, it offers an opportunity to win a trophy, and that trophy comes up quite early in the season.
So get it out of the way, and hopefully can build momentum. That's what I'm hoping to see from Arsenal. Obviously, it's Port Vale away. Just to give a context of the player to kind of look out for. If there's the player called Devante Cole who scored 3 in the last 3 matches, so he's kind of the player on form. Yeah, he's a striker that. I mean, listen, I expect whoever we put out there to be able to keep. Any of their striking force quiet. But that's the player from Port Vale that I think we've got to be kind of careful of in that team. Right, the main reason and the main question I actually want to get to is I've got some good talkers on the panel. I value you guys' opinions. So this is the main question. It's hard for me not to look past Port Vale. I shouldn't be doing this as a fan, but we are favourites. Newcastle on the weekend, you mentioned it just a second ago. In this game, do you think there'll be anything that Arteta does that he looks to trial to play in Newcastle? Because I think it'll be completely different. I think it'll be wholesale change. I think it'll be something that, it's just it's kind of I don't want to say a free hit, but it's a game where you let the players that haven't been playing, we've got such a big squad, play. But deep down, I do want Arteta to put something in this game that he can use against Newcastle, whether that's, I think he's going to go with that midfield three that everyone hates, Mikel Merino, Declan Rice and Zubimendi, because he needs battlers in there against Newcastle. Newcastle got a deep midfield that cause problems.
Stop putting that out in the
But that's what I
universe.
think he's going to do. So
I don't.
He's going to trial this creative midfield. He's going to put an Eze in the. Do you think you'll see an Eze in the 10? An Ethan Wanyeri in there to see if it works for.
Eze shouldn't even be going to Port Vale. That's how I see it. There's certain players that I don't even want to see go to Port Vale, if I'm being honest. Like, if we, not even to, I think about Liverpool, right? I remember, although they lost to Portsmouth, they said to Mo Salah, you're not going, mate. We've got a big enough squad to sort out that team, or we've got a big enough. There's certain players that I think shouldn't even go to Port Vale, if I'm being honest.
Does Saka go to Port Vale? Because he's
potentially
injured.
Potentially, yeah.
Potentially,
yeah. But this is a game where I'm like, you take Trossard and Martinelli and maybe Marino and Saka, and you try and leave maybe an Eze or someone. But I think you can't look to you. I don't think he's going to use this Port Vale game as a trial test of what he's going to do to Newcastle, because as you said, no disrespect to Port Vale, they are not Newcastle. We're talking about Newcastle. If we're going to put respect on them, they've got, in my opinion, one of the best midfields in the league.
Newcastle.
Newcastle. Absolutely. They've got a very physical midfield. And I think even when you watch them play against Barca recently, it wasn't as easy as probably people would have thought. That Barcelona team still had to take time to win that game. Yeah. I think he's just going to look at Port Vale as completely separately to that Newcastle game. If we were playing maybe... if we were playing maybe a team that was in the Championship or a team that was maybe in the Prem, then maybe. But I just think Port Vale should be completely different. Even the style of play, I expect to be different.
Yeah, I agree with Kenny. You know, I mean, like, I know it's players like Declan Rice are going to be so important in that game against Newcastle that I wouldn't even bring him. I don't think Gabriel should be at that game. You know, what I mean. Obviously, Kepa comes in a goal, so Raya takes a rest.
So it's completely separate. It's completely separate to what you're going to see.
Well, why did we go so strong in the summer? I'm not being funny. Why did we go so strong in the summer to take those players on these trips?
Yeah, those fair point. Those players, you know, I mean, I don't know if a player like, for instance, like Hincapi. If he's fit, he should be playing in that game. You know, I mean, this is a chance for Arsenal to, get a nice little rest into some of those main players, but still put out a very strong team. Yeah. With a blend of the youngsters like Max Daumans and Ethan Wanieris and players like that. And, I'd play, out of all those midfielders, probably Marino would be the only one I'd probably play in that game. I might even play Marino as a striker in that game and leave out Gyökeres, because, again, Gyökeres, without there being no Havertz as backup, Gyökeres is important. So, and it's going to be enough firepower up front. I mean, like you said, we've got Trossard, we've got Martinelli, we've got, Max Dauman. It's a shame that, with this Madueke injury, because, that'd have been a nice game for either him, maybe Saka comes in from the start to get him match sharpness.
Does Eze need to be there as well?
Maybe Saliba. No, Eze gets a red. To me, Eze has to start. I want to see Eze starting against Newcastle. Same. So I give him a complete rest.
Is that why you're starting Mikel Marino as well? We haven't got to the Predicts. We're not doing the Predicts 11 video, but is that why you're bringing Mikel Marino?
And I also feel that Marino, I think you could start him up front. If you even bring Gyökeres and those guys, they've got to be on the bench.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean? You start with a Marino up front, players like that. You don't want to pick up no injuries ahead of that Newcastle game. It's a very important game now, very difficult game, and there's enough players, as I said, like, exactly. I want to see Norgard.
Yeah,
we haven't really seen him this season apart from pre-season. I want to see Hincapi.
Ben White.
We know that Hincapi was played as a centre-back in that left-hand position. Mars Lewis-Skelly.
Yeah.
Get him back into the team. He's not really figured much this season. This is a perfect game to get him back in. Ben White. So even though there'd be a lot of changes, these are all first-team players, a lot of them. Yeah. These are first-teamers. It's not like, even Max Dauman's had a taste of it.
Yeah. But there's nothing you're taking from this game then for Sunday?
Because it's completely
or minutes in the legs.
It's all about winning and confidence, because let's be real, that game, Port Vale are not Newcastle. They're not going to have the physicality. Well, it might have a bit of physicality, but they're not going to have the talent that
Bruno
and then
they
haven't got a Volta made up front and players like that.
Gordon and Alanga.
It's a completely different game. Okay. Yeah. But
still take it seriously.
This is a great chance for Arsenal to rest those players, right, and have them ready for Newcastle. But also, those players, and the other good thing about this is the players that are coming in, because changes will be made, got a point to prove.
Exactly.
Mars Lewis-Skelly who was like, you know, he played against Man City last year. He didn't play a minute this time because Calafiori's been keeping him out. He's got a point to prove.
Yeah.
You know, players like Nkapi,
Ethan.
first game, you know what I mean? Show the manager what you can do. Ben White, you know, he's way behind Timber at the moment, but remind the manager that, you know, whether it's right back or centre back, I'm here.
Yeah.
You know? Same with, you know, your Trossards and your Martinelli. Well, Martinelli's been reminding the manager already, but go out there and keep that form going.
Exactly.
Make the manager think, you know what, maybe I should start Martinelli on the weekend, you know?
He did say he wants to play 90 minutes in his post.
Could it be you know, we're recording this very early, but, you know, is this a game if he's close to fitness to get an Odegaard back?
Yeah.
You know, give him some minutes in the game, not a full game, but some minutes back in to ease him back in. So I think this is a good game for Arsenal. It's come at a good time, you know, and you know, like it's a chance for these players that are coming in to show the manager, because that's what I said. It's not like your usual sort of Carabao Cup games over the years where it's been wholesale changes of kids, or we've had to play players that shouldn't really be playing, should be resting. This really is a chance for the other players in the squad to come in and prove themselves. Yeah. So I'm kind of looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the lineup, and I'm looking forward to see how we play in this game.
No, I am as well, and it's going to be a very good Predicted 11 video as well on the channel as well, because there's a lot to discuss around it. Before we go, I'm glad we got you two in here, Jamaican descent, because we have a man, Darren Moore, is their manager.
Darren Moore.
Wow. So is it obviously ex-Jamaican international?
Yeah, and
good for these. So it's
well,
nice.
Darren Moore used to be his manager at West Brom, and you know, when they sacked him, it was absolutely ridiculous because he's done such a great job. And it's a guy that I've met a few times. Really nice guy, and he's a decent manager who gets his teams really well organised. Yeah. So you know, I think Arsenal can expect a very well organised team. A team where they're all going to know what they're doing.
I think as well, though, like, sorry to cut you, I think you look at some of these cup ties, even teams that are in the League Ones and the Championships, they also make changes as well. They hardly ever play their strongest game, because they might be looking at like, right, we've also got a really important league game, and you've just said they're 19th, so already they're in a bit of a stressful situation. They might be thinking like, right, maybe I should rest one of my best centre backs and give someone else a bit of a run out.
Yeah, Grimsby
in this
Town did
game.
that.
Yeah,
You're
do
right,
you know what I mean?
a
lot of other. It's not just Premier League teams that do that. It's also Championship and League One teams and League Two teams that do that as well. So they will also have a lot to think about their starting 11. Also, I don't really know many of their players, but they're probably going to make a few changes in certain areas as well, or maybe players that might be their best players might not play as long as.
No, you make some very, very strong points there, and it's a good point. Score prediction. Ladies first, go on, Ken.
I'm going to say 3-1. I think we might just concede just because I expect a really change back four that might not have played together before.
Yeah, let me go about 3-0. You know, we still, even with some changes, still going to have a really good defence.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, attacking wise, we're a lot stronger. And you never know, Mikel Arteta might even throw in a couple of sort of regulars into there as well.
Yeah,
so
I think he tends to do that.
It's going to be quite a strong team, whatever the changes, right? So let me go 3-0.
Okay.
And as I said, players that are looking to prove a point.
Yeah. My trip to Vale Park, it's going to be Stoke-on-Trent's going to be a long one. I want to see some goals from Arsenal. So
can you do it on a cold night in Stoke? That's where Port Vale is.
Yeah,
in Stoke.
Yeah,
we never used to be able to do it, but I think it's a lot different Arsenal team now. A lot more physical as well.
So
I think we can.
Funny, because we've been linked so much the way we play with Stoke City and all that. So it'll be quite interesting to see.
Up Uncle Tony.
Hopefully we can be nice and fluid and put them to the sword and we win. I'm going to go 4-0. I was going to go 3-0. You went 3-0, so I'll go 4-0 just because why not? That is it for the preview of this Wednesday's game against Port Vale in the League Cup. Again, make sure you stay locked into all of AFTV's content and build up to all the games. This game coming on Wednesday and also the build up to Sunday's game against Newcastle. We'll keep it locked here on AFTV. Thank you to Kenya and Robbie for joining me for this preview, and stay tuned for the Predicted 11 video as well, coming out on the channel very soon. Take care.